don't remember much from high school. Well, I do remember what a doofus I was most of the time, but other than that, I don't remember a lot of content like actual learning or things, specific things that I learned in high school. But one thing I do remember learning in high school was Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs in a social studies class. It was literally called social studies, and we looked at a little bit of history and geography and a little bit of psychology and sociology and all this stuff. And I don't remember anything else from the class, but I do remember Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And this is such an important, famous concept in psychology. And the idea is that in this unit of development is that you develop through the years with certain needs. And once you have a certain level of need met, then you can move up to the next one. And you really can't do that easily unless you get these basic needs met first before you can move up. And so that's the idea here. All right, so let's look at Maslow's hierarchy of needs. So you're going to have a sheet of paper that looks like this, or you're going to take out a sheet of paper and make a big old triangle, and you're going to have 5 sections to it. So go ahead and make sure you've got that. You might want to pause the video until you have that ready, and then go ahead and hit it and go, because I'm getting ready to go. All right, bottom level, this first stage, the bottom stage here, the most necessity that we all have in terms of needs is physiological needs. Physiological needs. Now, notice physiological needs, there's the word physical. So, like physical needs, things that we have to have in order to survive. So, those things would include air, food, water, sleep, and shelter. Those are physiological needs: air, food, water, sleep, shelter. And here's the thing: if we don't have those, we're not really worried about anything else. For example, if you look at countries that have, or even just towns or areas in a town where the environment is the cleanest, where there's not any trash, where the water is clean, where all these things are happening, those are places where everyone has these needs met. Like if you don't have these needs met, if you want to go to countries that are the poorest and they have the worst environment, it's just trashy, like it's the places where people don't have their air, food, water, their ability to sleep, their shelter met. And see, here's the deal: if you don't have these physiological needs met, you're not worried about whether there's trash in the ditch. You're just not worried about that. You're not worried about whether the river's clean or not. You're just worried about trying to find some food for the next day. So Maslow hits on something that's pretty obvious, really, which is before we can worry about anything else, we're worried about physiological needs. All right, next step up. Safety needs. Safety needs. All right, so what do we mean by safety needs? Well, um, you got to have personal security, like your physical safety, your safety, security, personal security, employment, some sort of job, health, and property. Like you own things and you have a place to keep it. It's kind of what personal security is all about. So personal security, employment, a job, your health, and property. Notice you're not worried about your health if you don't have food. That's so this is a safety needs. All right, are met next. Pause it if you need to, if you're not done, because I'm going to move on to the next level. All right, love and belonging. That's the next level up. So now you've got your safety needs, you've got your physiological needs. So now you're more considered. You're considering some love. All right. You're worried about having friends, connections in the community. You're part of groups. You're in a band. You're part of teams. And then, of course, intimacy. You have a girlfriend, boyfriend, significant other. All right, so those things. Notice that you're not worried about those things if you can't eat. If you're starving to death, like friendship's just not really a concern. Um, you're worried about food. You're not worried about intimacy at that point. So you have to have these things. As Maslow says, Abraham Maslow says, you got to have each step as you move up. All right, cool. Pause if you need to. I'm moving on to the next one. All right, the fourth one up, which probably a lot of people in our class would be at. I think a lot of people are probably in this range. Esteem comes from the word self-esteem, and that's actually something that comes from this one. You're going to get respect from other people. Self-esteem, meaning you're accomplishing some things and feeling good about yourself. Status, you have status, like you belong, and people see you as someone who is significant and important. And by the way, you may be trying to get esteem. Probably in high school, it's hard to have that. Some people might have status in high school, but it's pretty fleeting. You may be the big person on campus when you're 17, but trust me, it ain't gonna matter when you're 25. Recognition. So you're getting recognition. So esteem is something a lot of people, as they get into their adult life and they're working and they have a career of some sort, these are the sort of things that those type of people are working toward or have. And then it reaches the last stage. And this is a stage that Maslow thought maybe only a couple percent of people would ever actually reach. All right. Pause if you need to. We're moving on. And that's called self-actualization. Self-actualization. All right. What is self-actualization? It's kind of amorphous. It's this idea that you get the most out of your talent and your potential in life. So it's just, and it probably means you feel so confident and so good about life that you're able to go out and help others and do something significant. So going out, helping others, doing something significant with your life, that's self-actualization. And you feel good about it, You just, you're not worried about chasing everything all the time and what everybody else thinks. You're worried about just doing what's good and helping society. All right, that's self-actualization. All right, that's Abraham Maslow's hierarchy of needs. One thing you should do to practice this is grab your whiteboard. If you got a whiteboard, that'd be really good if you had a whiteboard. I've got some digital practices, but also I would take some piece of paper or your whiteboard and draw this. First, just draw the big the bolded letters, the bolded words. So physiological needs, safety, love and belonging, esteem, self-actualization, and get that down. Then second, start to actually put in some of the details of what each means. All right, great. Plus do the digital practices. Thanks. Bye.